Welcome, Taurus. This is your monthly focus for July 2016. My name is Tilly, and this is Tarot with Tilly. And before we begin, thank you. Thank you so much for your positive, supportive, loving energy that you send my way each and every day. I send it right back to you. Thank you so, so much. Now, in my meditation this morning, an angel or a spirit guide or God whispered in my ear and said, you need to do this reading for the monthlies. So we're going to try it. I already did Aries, and I found so much information coming out of it. So I'll just give you a fast picture in your mind of how the cards are laid down. So I lay down your first card, which I always think is the most important. This month, it's the King of Pentacles. So we'll be talking about that. And then I laid down a general energy, your love, your work, career, finances, um, spirituality, health and well-being, and then a card leading out of the month. And when I thought about that, that makes a lot of sense because the sun is going through a sign about mid-month. It goes into a new sign and starts a new energy. So I guess those are our sun cards, okay? The beginning energy walking into the month, and then our energy leading out with the sun into a new sign. So and I've got it broken down into 3 rows. So the beginning of the month, mid-month, and then towards the end of the month. So let's see how it works for you, okay? So let's start with the King of Pentacles. So with the King of Pentacles, okay, you come into this month very strong. So you're probably very balanced in many portions of your life where it comes to work and career over family. That's usually the main two. Or it could be finances over your spirituality, but there's a balance here going on in your life right now. And it comes from the thoughts that you're getting. You're expanding your ideas, the way you're doing things, the way you're looking at things, and it is allowing security to come in. It's allowing abundance to come in, or for you to feel that or make it tangible in your life. So I see the rainbow over here. I see your crown as a living vine. I see you sitting with a strength, with a determination. And, I don't think kings and queens talk as much as the pages do and the knights do. I think with maturity, we start to listen a little bit more. So our listening skills, being a good friend, being able to hear what the other person is trying to convey to us is a lot stronger in our whole personality right now. Now, do I see any greatness? Do I see any sadness? And I'm not talking about the little ups and downs in life, okay? We're all going to hit those roadblocks, those little pitfalls. Stress comes into our life and we walk through it and it goes from our life. I'm looking about big, major, transformative. And we don't have any transformation cards, okay? We do have a lot of reminiscing, I think, over the first couple of weeks. So not until the 3rd week do we use that reminiscing in a new energy. If I'd have to say anything here for negative, well, let's start with love, okay? Because I think love is going to be love, home, family, our close friends, our close relationships at work and the community. That's what I'm talking about with love, okay? We're really, when we think love, we're looking at partnerships, and yes, that's part of it. But love is so much more than that, okay? And I hate to diminish it to just one area of your life when love really, it touches all areas of our life in different ways. We love in different ways. We approach things in different ways. Now, the very first card, so the very beginning of the month, we have the Ten of Wands. Okay, so this is essentially certain things in relationships have been weighing us down, is making our steps so much harder than they need to be. Okay, we have the sack, and we're carrying it on our back, and it's filled with wands. And some of those wands have this positive new growth potential, and other wands are deadwood. Now, I'm looking at the general energy, and I think it has a lot to do with the path that we've walked up to this point in relationships, and how we are, or how we need to evolve our way of thinking within relationships. So this is where we get very strong and opinionated on what we really need within relationships, and this is where we start to realize what we don't want within relationships. And I think that energy even gets stronger as we get mid-month. It probably is all month, to be honest with you. Okay, but this is beautiful energy because I don't see any, this is where you start to stand up for you, what you really need in a relationship, what's not working, what is working, where do you need to grow the strength within a relationship, where do you need to let old things go. And especially if you are not in a relationship, it could be a thought or a presence, a negative energy that is not allowing you to really connect with somebody. That person might already be in your life if you are single and you're looking for somebody, but they can't approach because you're carrying around this negative energy and negative attitude. And we'll get into it because you have the first 2 weeks is all about reminiscing, going back, thinking things through, going back in time, and we'll get there. I don't want to jump the gun, but realize that you might be carrying an old thought pattern, or you might be beating yourself up, even subconsciously, to who you were in a past relationship or what happened within the past relationship. Now, mid-month, we have the Five of Swords. So this is where arguments could come about. Okay, so be careful that you're choosing your battles wisely. We don't want to start bickering over the little things in life. Okay, because then we start to grab maybe from the past and say, well, you know what, 20 years ago you said this to me, and I've never let that go, And that should be a sign to you saying, well, I need to let that go. I need to work on that. I need to move past that. I can't harbor old grudges and expect my relationship to work going forward. This could be where you are attracted to somebody really different than yourself if you are looking for a relationship. It's kind of like if you've always, taken like a loaf of bread and you always went for the crust, right? And take a bite out of it. It's reality. It's strong. It's durable. It's got substance. And maybe this month you need to pick from the middle of the loaf and get all spongy and soft and surrounded by all the other slices of bread in that loaf, and feel the love and let it into your heart. Or maybe it's just the opposite. Maybe you've always been in the middle of the bread kind of person and always grabbing that middle slice, and now you need to grab that crust and take a bite out of it and feel the substance, the strength within a relationship, a strong, logical person maybe. So, I mean, look at what slice you usually grab out of the loaf first, okay? In a love sense. But it might show you something. It might bring you back to a period in your life where you start to open up doors about why you needed that middle slice with all of its security, why you didn't take that end piece and just take a bite out of it and go for it. Or maybe it's the exact opposite. Maybe you're always taking a bite out of it and you never experience the warmth and the love that can come to you as well, and the compassion and beauty in life. This could be a lot about arguments happening, negative things that people say, and this could come from outside. Somebody could be giving you advice and it comes across very harsh, very negative, and it's more of a reflection of what they are going through in love or what they have experienced in love rather than what you are going through in love. So go into your heart, do a heart chakra meditation, ground yourself, meditate, pray, okay, because you can walk away into new beginnings here if you listen to the right messages. They will be powerful. As we go towards the end of the month, we have the Two of Pentacles. So this is an imbalance in our love life. Okay, this could really open up our eyes. Okay, this could be like the icing on the cake for knowing I must be hungry. I'm going into food for everything here. As we work through, knowing what we want, what we don't want, and then maybe we do have some strong conversations around what we need in our life. This is where we really see where we have been putting the imbalance in. Okay, because it's a lot easier to look at other people's actions, especially in a relationship, than our own actions, and a reflection of the true self of where we have been putting the energy. Have we been starting the arguments? Have we been dropping the ball when it comes to the relationship? Maybe we've been doing it all and they've been the one starting the arguments. And so we need to find the common ground here. We need to bring in the right perspective of energy within the relationship. We need to understand where we have been putting our energy and how we can use our energy in different ways throughout the relationship in order to grow it stronger. Maybe it's always with words that you show your love, and maybe it needs to be with actions, or maybe it's always with actions and they're dying to hear, I love you. So, but I think here we start to understand the imbalance that we actually bring. Now, that could go a lot with the first three cards. I almost should have started here because it does overlap a lot within the love and relationships. Our first week, we have the Six of Cups for the overall energy. So this is first love yourself, okay? And that goes very strongly with the Ten of Wands because we don't really see what is needed or not needed in our life until we have a true appreciation for who we are going forward, the beauty of ourselves, how we should be respected, cared for, loved. Now, this card usually takes you back in time. It could be an actual person that shows up in your life and bringing you back to a point in time in order for you to rewalk those steps, to understand why you went through certain things in your life. What was the wisdom you took away from it? And people, many times I hear, well, I don't understand the wisdom. I see the lesson, but I don't understand the wisdom. So ask yourself what you would have done differently. What would I have done differently that would have created a different outcome? I might have been in the same outcome, but what could I have done differently? And when you start to tap into what you could do differently, that's wisdom. Because before, that option wasn't even on the drawing board. So it's waking us up to the new realizations of what can be in our life. So, and the second month is the same thing again. This is more of reminiscing. This is more of thinking backwards and walking through certain periods in time in our life, certain snapshots. And, detach yourself emotionally from these things because you don't want to live through any kind of hurt or pain or stress or anxiety in your mind again, but you do need to review the lesson to see what you went through. Okay, maybe you can finally release certain negative energy that you have been harboring all along without intentionally doing so, because it still plays a part in your life, even though it's not in the conscious. It still plays a part in who you are, in who you are becoming, or in who you cannot become until you release certain energy. But especially if it's a relationship, it's that time when you can finally think back to a happy moment within that relationship that you are truly starting to heal. That you know the healing has begun. That you can start to feel that love center again. But this could be through work. This could be through stature in the community. Looking back and seeing new routes forward. Because we are ready to mount that horse. We are ready to ride forward into our sunrise of tomorrow. We are ready to use that wisdom going forward. And then towards the end of the month, we have the Hierophant. So this is meditation, prayer, being alone with our thoughts, and regaining a balance through spirituality. So very much, the more we can meditate, the more we can pray, especially on our past actions. And don't worry, you don't even have to think, okay? With our subconscious, the way it works, when we just sit there in our quiet zone, we rarely think about what we are going to create. 9 times out of 10, we're taking backwards. We're taking back into the past. We're reliving something. We're reviewing something in order to attach ourselves to the wisdom. Okay? When we make an error in judgment when we are 7 years old, or 10 years old, or 15 years old, okay, it's not the wisdom you have today. And when you look back, you can see, had you listened to somebody else, had you taken somebody else's advice, you knew it was wrong, you felt it in your gut, that's your wisdom. And just living, we acquire wisdom. So it's not even where we can see where we could have done something different. We just know now we could have done so many things different. Okay, and that's releasing a part of us that we have been beating ourselves up about. We've got poor judgment, or we can't get along well with people because we had those fights in the playground when we were 8, but our parents were being divorced. So of course you were having those fights in the playground. Like, it starts to make more sense, and then you can release that negative energy. So a very strong month for you for becoming the King of Pentacles. This is the new thoughts, the new ideas, the new approaches, the new ways of thinking about things. That living vine as your crown, your thoughts, and it's going to bring in the security. It's going to bring in the well-being. Now, as far as work is concerned, well, we have the Sun as our very first card. So it's all about you. It's all about your path forward. It's all about your dreams, your ambitions, your strength. The King of Pentacles, new ideas come to you, new ways of going forward, new projects to put yourself into. Maybe it's a promotion, maybe it's a new job altogether, maybe it's taking a hobby and turning it into something that makes extra money for you. But it's all about you, and you shine. So you shine at work, you shine in what you do. So, I mean, go, even if you hate your job, go to work with the knowledge that you are going to shine today, that you're going to do everything right, that things are going to flow easily. And they will. It's amazing how that works. You go to work, oh, just fire me today. Just, I just want to go home. Kind of attitude. Chances are you're not putting your best foot forward. Chances are you're not shining. Okay, and the very beginning of the month is your opportunity to shine. Maybe somebody's watching you. Maybe they want to give you a pay raise. Maybe they want to promote you in some way, or use your abilities and talents in a new way, for better productivity or better output. Or maybe you're great with customers, or so this is the very beginning. You're shining. Now, the Eight of Wands brings in opportunities. So maybe through feeling that intense empowerment that you do have here with the Sun. And what a strong card to start out your month when it comes to work, career, finances. But now the opportunities start to come in. The chance of the Sun leading you into growing your dreams bigger, be careful of that, because you're going to miss opportunities that are right in front of you at the present time. You may overhear a conversation, or you may see an advertisement somewhere. You may see somebody else doing what you want to do. And, if we're so far future thinking, we look at them and go, wow, I want to do that one day. But we don't think to say, I'm going to contact that person, or I'm going to have a conversation with that person and see how they started doing that. What was their baby steps? Because they just didn't appear like this. They grew their talent, they grew their ability. And how did they do that so that you can do that too? So there's a lot of wisdom in the now. Okay, but if we are so future oriented, we're going to miss those opportunities when they come around, when they show themselves to us. Don't worry, I am a firm believer that those opportunities do come around again. But wouldn't it be great to grab that opportunity the first time it came around? So stay in the now. Okay, with the Sun card, you're going to feel so alive, so like you can do it all, be it all, become it all, that you might get a little futuristic in your thinking, and it might push you actually into energy where you don't want to be. So stay grounded, stay in the now. Feel that sunshine on you and bask in it, but don't allow it to, you start thinking, oh, I'm going to have this beautiful tan. As long as I don't get burnt, maybe I'll get burnt. And we miss the opportunity to put the sunscreen on ourselves because we're so futuristic thinking about laying in the sun in the first place. So, or am I going to have lines now? I'm going to be wearing this shirt tonight and I don't want lines there. And, futuristic thinking. Don't stay in the future. Stay in the now. What is it doing for you now? How do you feel alive? How do you feel useful? How do you feel like your gifts and talents are taking you somewhere? Now, as we go towards the end of the month, we have the Chariot. So our focus becomes very centered. We have a path laid out before us. Now, I see the bird there, so very much we could have the same bird that's sitting here. Okay? And this one, we just have a whole flock of birds. So lots of different messages coming in there. We have certain messages being whispered to us, so we have to listen intently. And here we have the birds again leading us on our way, knowing that we need to go in this direction. We need to do this research. We need to put in the overtime. We need to talk to a superior. We need to put our application or our resume into a certain place. This is where we get a focus on our path forward and how we want to go forward. That doesn't happen until the end of the month, so don't be beating yourself up. Don't be stressing yourself up if the path isn't clear. The path will be clearer by the end of the month if you use the energy correctly. So yes, the very beginning you're going to feel alive and wonderful and beautiful, and you can accomplish so much and do so much, and you see your talents and you see your gifts. But in the middle of the month, that's when the opportunities connect with talent, with energy, so that we have a new energy going forward, which is our focus, our path. Now, the Chariot is also a travel card. So you could be traveling in order to go forward in work, in career, in finances in some way. It might be that you want to start investing in real estate, and now you have to travel in order to start looking at houses, seeing what the market is, where you can buy, what is needed. So there's all kinds of new strategies and ideas coming up when it comes to the Chariot, and many times it includes travel of some sort. For spirituality, now we have the Page of Pentacles as our spirituality here in the very first one. So we are looking at new paths in spirituality, new ways of doing it, maybe new routines. Okay, maybe you meet a new spirit guide. Maybe you tap into a new angel. Okay, the Page of Pentacles is the starting journey when it comes to our spirituality in this case. So where are you starting? Maybe you're going to start doing affirmations in the morning. Maybe you're going to start doing a gratitude prayer at night. Maybe you are going to take a tarot class or an astrology course, or maybe it is, what is it? Getting out and walking in the woods, being alone with your thoughts for 5 minutes a day. Maybe a stroll through the park at lunch hour. And you're really not going to see how it will develop into anything great. You just have to kind of go on blind faith that you're starting something new, that you're doing something different, that you're tapping into your spirituality in a new way. Okay, and sometimes it takes courage. So especially if you've been kind of hiding in the closet with your spirituality and nobody around you is really spiritual, and so you don't feel comfortable in those crowds, maybe now is the time when you seek out new people to surround yourself with, so that you can have a dialogue. Mid-month for spirituality, we have the Four of Cups, so it is our gratitude card. So this could very well be where we are looking at what we already have to work with in our life. This could be a lot from going into our past, the last beginning of the month and through mid-month, on what lessons we've gone through, what kind of wisdom we have. Maybe this is a new appreciation of our wisdom going forward. And it's brought through by spirituality. So one, gratitude prayer is so important. Before you lay your head down and you close your eyes for the night, give up a small thank you for your day, of who you are, of what surrounds you, of the health and well-being of the people around you. And it will snowball into more beautiful coming into your life. Absolutely. As we go towards the end of the month, our spirituality, you know what? We want balance in our life. We want balance continually. We want a harmony in our life. And we want joy. You know, we want it all. And with the Justice card, you can have it all. It's by aligning yourself through your spirituality of where you are putting in your energy, what relationships you are working on, where you give love, where you receive love, how you build joyful moments in your life. So I think a little bit more balance does come in towards the end of the month on, I mean, we started with the Page of Pentacles, looking at new pathways, and then the Four of Cups, you know, starting to be aware of the gratitude of what we already have in our life, to take it to new levels, new beginnings with the Justice card, to understand that there are new pathways open to us. For health and well-being, now, we start with the Ten of Swords. So maybe I should have said, wow, this is kind of a negative card at the beginning, but because it is in the first placement. But I think this is more of your wisdom kicking in. This could be, once again, you start looking backwards and you start seeing maybe what a destructive path you've been on for yourself without even realizing it. Maybe it's your eating habits. Maybe it's your exercise program. Maybe it's just your overall well-being and health. Maybe it's what you're putting in your body. Maybe it is a bad habit. Maybe it is something that we need to ask somebody for help for. But we're seeing it now. We've been through the challenge and the sky is opening up here, which knows that we need to change something in our world in order to have that everyday vitality, that health, that well-being. Now, as we go into mid-month, we start thinking, oh, I want to be like this, I want to do this, I want to become this. This would be a great thing to just do a picture board of health. Okay, maybe, so a picture board is really, you get some words together, you get some pictures together, you put it on a board, you look at it every day. And so, but just have it geared towards your health and well-being. So you could have somebody jogging if you want to start jogging. You could have a beautiful salad there as your food of choice. You know, you could have words like, I can do it. I own this. I am deserving of this. I am worthy of a healthy life. So this is where we start to dream build in what we want to look forward to. So it's not until the end of the month where you really make some true declarations. So, you know, don't, with the Ten of Swords energy, it's like, okay, well, I got to change that today. Well, it's not going to be that easy. It's going to be a process. But usually when we go through the process, when we go through the small steps, that's when it's long lasting. That's when it sticks. So don't be in a hurry to make these declarations till you start to get into the last part of the energy of the month. That's when you're going to make a firm realization, a dedication to yourself. Maybe you are going to write your own mission statement and say it aloud every day at this point of who you are becoming, of what you are changing in your life, of where you are asking for help if you need that help. Remember, even if you want to lose 5 pounds, okay, it's a lot easier to cheat when nobody else knows that you're losing 5 pounds. But when you start to get other people on board, they become your support system. You're less likely to take a few corners. Okay, it's like everybody at work gets a Fitbit. And now everybody can watch each other's steps. So where you thought, I'm just going to lay around today, you used to, oh, maybe I'll go for a walk. Maybe I'll go for a jog. So, you know, it's kind of having that and taking ownership of what you truly want to walk into going forward. So that's the last, at the end of the month, you really take ownership of what you want to change in your life when it comes to health and well-being. Now, going out of the month and into next month, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So, wow. You know, I see where July, you know, especially the first part, there's a lot of growing, there's a lot of struggling, there's a lot of getting our priorities right, understanding where we have fallen and how we don't have to fall the next time around. And so the Ten of Pentacles is the yes card. This says that, yes, you are mastering a life of well-being, of love, of finances going well, of working within your passions, your abilities, your talents. So overall, if you use this energy, I mean, you don't start out the energy that badly with the King of Pentacles, but look at how it transpires. If you use this energy to its fullness, being the King of Pentacles, so there's something to meditate on for the month. Having that living vine for your crown, your ideas, holding that abundance nonchalantly, really. It's like you have a look like, I own this. I've got this. I can do this. And you walk into the month like that, but at the end of it, now you start to see where your positive energy is actually manifesting into tangible results. So until we meet again, remember, I do love you.